ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
The most imposing fighter in WWE, WWF, or WCW history? Only one answer to that question: Andre the Giant. That hulking beast of a man who towered at 7 feet 4 inches and weighed over 475 pounds. I mean, the dude was undefeated from 1973 all the way to 1987. There was no one who could touch him, there was no one who could hold him, and definitely no one could pick him up. I mean, the dude made the bear hug illegal in like 40 states. I mean, he'd pick you up and he'd just shake you like a doll until you went unconscious. The dude was just strong. He is the most imposing figure in WWF history. Now, here was the issue with Andre. He once said in an interview that his greatest issue in the ring, his greatest opponent, was never the individual standing in the opposite corner. It was always himself. You see, Andre was so strong that he would accidentally collapse your lung. He would accidentally shift one of your vertebrae. He would accidentally cause you to slip a disc. I mean, this dude was accidentally breaking people's bones. It was very clear and apparent that whenever Andre got into the ring, it wasn't a matter of if he was gonna win or not. It was whether you would live through the experience or not. I mean, this dude is huge. He's so strong, he's impenetrable. And he said his greatest challenge was making sure that he understood himself well enough to fight correctly. I kind of think that we can all vibe with Andre. I mean, we all have these abilities, we all have these talents, we all have potential. But aren't you kind of tired of potential all the time? And you wish you could just explode on the scene whenever you want to? But Andre says, listen, you gotta kind of control that. You have to make sure that as you're using your gifts and your talents, what God-given ability you do have, you gotta make sure that it is controlled so you don't destroy your environment. Yes, Andre the Giant was the most imposing figure ever, but even Andre will let you know, being imposing also comes with its challenges. In part 1, we dealt with the dynamics of a wrestling alone. Being in the dark, having no one around you, can't tag anyone in to come and help you in your helpless state. And we dealt with some of the practical things you can do in order to wrestle alone and also be victorious. Well, tonight we're going to turn the page to chapter 2, which is dealing with wrestling with me. All of our texts are going to come from Genesis, the 32nd chapter, verses 22 on down to verse 30, where we read about Jacob wrestling with his angel. And so tonight we're going to focus in specifically on verses 27 and 28. So if you could turn there, I want to reflect for just a few moments on Genesis 32, verse 27 and 28. Reading from the New Living Translation, it says, "What is your name?" the man asked. He replied, "Jacob." "Your name will no longer be Jacob," the man told him. "From now on you will be called Israel, because you have fought with God and with men and have won." Tonight we're dealing with wrestling with me. Wrestling with me. I loved wrestling growing up, but I specifically loved the characters. You know, I loved Rowdy Rowd Piper. I loved him. I liked the British Bulldog, Owen Hart. I definitely like Coco Beware, who was the very first successful African-American wrestler. Always had a parrot on his shoulder. I remember Jake the Snake. I remembered him bringing out his huge python and putting it on the foe that he just defeated. I remember Andre the Giant, the hugest dude I've ever seen in a ring. And we all remember the Macho Man, Randy Savage. And my favorite, of course, was Mr. Hulk Hogan himself. I loved him. I was a part of Hulkamania. The thing that attracts us to wrestling are the names. The names are very important because the names reveal identity. The names speak to the alter ego or the character that we're watching, that we grow close to, that we grow even intimate with. I mean, you cry when your favorite wrestler loses and you shout when he wins. Don't even know the guy, but you're attached to the name. See, names are important. And that is why right here in verse 27, the first thing that Jacob is asked is, what is your name? What is your name? See, when we wrestle, there is always going to come a point when you have to wrestle with you. See, a lot of times we think of wrestling as in wrestling someone else, wrestling an opponent. But few people are talking about, promoting, even trying to break down all the nuances of wrestling with yourself. When this angel looks at Jacob and says, what is your name? He's really asking, what is your ego? What is your identity? Who are you? Why are you here with me? And why are you still holding on, fighting for your life? What is your name? And I want to suggest that Jacob is very attached to his name. He's very attached to this ego that he has. Jacob means supplanter. Supplanter. Now, breaking that down into our modern English, supplanter means one who is always striving to take another's place. One who is always striving to take someone else's place. See, the first place you have to start wrestling when it comes to wrestling with yourself is you have to fight your proclivity, all of that drive that's in you to try to take somebody else's stuff, to take what someone else has. We see a man with a nice car. First thing that comes to our mind, man, I need to get that car. We see a young lady with a nice pair of shoes on. What's the first thing we think? Man, I could really use those shoes. See, it's like we're wired to take other people's places. We're wired to go after someone else's dreams, to strive after someone else's career. And God is actually wanting you to stop tonight and answer this question. What is your name? What were you born for? What is your purpose? No, you specifically, not you generally. What is your name? What is it about you on this planet that is special? He's trying to ask Jacob to evaluate himself because Jacob has spent all of his life trying to get what other people got. Yes, I said got, not get. Get what other people got. Putting emphasis there on striving after what other people have. So much of our time in wrestling in life is spent trying to wrestle to gain something that's not meant for us. The Bible says earlier in Jacob's story in the book of Genesis that he actually came out of the womb holding on to the heel of his brother Esau. See, he's a twin. They were born seconds, literally seconds apart. And it's almost like from the very first time we see Jacob, we get this glimpse into a man that wants things he does not have. He's holding on to his brother's heel as if to say, no, I was supposed to go first. But that just didn't happen. And so we see him later on with his brother. His brother is about to die. And the first thing he says is, yeah, I'll give you some food if you give me what you have. Then he moves on later, and his mom and him get this great plan of how to get the older brother's blessing when he is the younger brother. And he dresses the part of being his brother Esau. And I'm looking at this story saying, I know why they named you Jacob. I know why in some translations it means heel holder. I know why now it says supplanter. Because Jacob, you've always been going after stuff that's not yours. If you want to find some peace this evening where you're at, if you truly want to get stabilized in your wrestling journey, answer this question. Who are you? Better yet, what is meant for you and what is meant for somebody else? That is a very important question. So much contentment is lost because others are continually striving after someone else's dream. I am so tired of our Western culture making money off of my insecurity. I'm so tired of them putting a product next to an athlete or entertainer that I like, and all of a sudden, for some reason, I want that product now. I'm tired of being manipulated as a supplanter, one who simply is striving to take someone else's place. I want to find out who I am. And that's why I'm so glad that in our wrestling struggles, the verse is very clear here in verse 27 of Genesis 32. God starts this transformational experience by asking one question. What is your name? What is your name? I like verse 28 though, because it picks up there. After Jacob is honest, only after Jacob is honest, does it say your name will no longer be Jacob. If you want to know the fastest way to improve you, admit who you really are. If you want the fastest track to success, just tell the world, no, this is who I really am. Transparency is the key to success. Transparency, being real with yourself and real with your world, real with your environment and real with your peers. If you truly want to fast track it towards getting where you see other people at, then be unique. Be you. Answer the question, who are you? My name is so-and-so. Yeah, that comes with a little baggage, but so what? My name is so-and-so. Yeah, I know that doesn't mean much because my family's not well known, but who cares? My name is so-and-so, and I have something unique to bring to the table, and therefore, now, verse 28 comes into play. Your name will no longer be. I want to get to that place where I have a transformation of my character that is so strong, people feel the need to rename me. It's like, yo, you kind of different, man. I don't even recognize you. Have you ever heard that feedback from a friend after many years? You see them at a reunion, or you just may randomly run into them at a different event, and the first thing they say is that you? Have you ever heard that? Is that you? See, I want people to say that. I want after 5 years, I haven't seen you. I want you to look back at me and say, oh, is that you? I want to be unrecognizable. I want to be so transformed by the renewing of my mind that individuals don't even recognize me anymore. See, I am willing not only to wrestle with opponents, but I'm willing to wrestle with me. Why? Because I'm not content with who I am today. I want to be different tomorrow. And first, I'm going to be transparent about that. I'm going to say my name is Mike. And that comes with a lot of baggage. But check this out. God follows it up with your name will no longer be. See, you are at the point now where your honesty has brought you into your change. You want to be changed today. You want to get to a different level today. You want to be unrecognizable. Be transparent. Be honest. And your name will no longer be. Don't run away from your identity. Accept it. Don't try to get someone else's identity. Leave it to them. The Bible is very clear. I even hate sometimes that it's the last commandment because I believe it's the most forgotten commandment. In Exodus, it says, thou shalt not covet. All covet means is you shall not want something that someone else has. You know, leave his wife alone. Leave his car alone. Leave her job alone. Leave her degree alone. And simply answer the question, who are you? What was meant for you? Jacob is honest. He is transparent. It leads to change. But check this out. I love this sentence. When he says your name will no longer be Jacob in verse 28, he then follows it up with this. From now on, you will be. See, it's not just the whole your name will no longer. I want the from now on. I want my change to be lasting change. If I take the time to take on Michael Polite in the mirror day after day and wrestle with the fact that I am insecure, I'm uncomfortable in my own skin. If I take the time to introspect to that level of transparency and honesty, I want to make sure that there is lasting change at the end. I am not content if I am changed for a year, or changed for a season, or changed for a few months, maybe even changed for a decade, only to return back to that which I was before I started all my wrestling. If I wrestle, I want to get paid. What is my paycheck? Change. Yeah, no, I'm not talking about the change in your pocket. I'm talking about the change in your mind, in your heart, in your body, and in your spirit. I want some change, and it's only going to come when I am honest and when I'm transparent. Wrestling with God will lead you to answering one question. Who are you? What are you made of? What did I make you to do? What is it that you're on this planet to accomplish? What is it that is so unique about you that if you weren't around, we would miss that thing? What is that one element about you that you actually need to package and market, and if you can, even put it in a product and distribute it to others, because other people in your sphere just have to have it? What is your name? What is it that you're here to do? I want everyone to take an opportunity to look at your thumb. Not the side with the nail on it, but the side with the ringlets on it. You see all of these circles there, and if you stare too long, you'll get a headache because they're so intricate and they're so fine that it's hard to find out where they end somewhere in the middle of that thumb. I want you to see that thumb and say to yourself, there is no other thumb like this. There is no other arrangement of these rings on my thumb like this. Matter of fact, these ringlets have never been arranged like this ever in Earth's history. And they'll never be arranged like this ever again. A matter of fact, these rings are so dependable when it comes to my identity that if I ever became a criminal, the first thing they do is look up my thumb. They'd run my fingerprints. See, I am so unique that God made sure he gave me a sign. But I'm glad he didn't put that on the sole of my feet. I'm glad he didn't put it on my elbow or on my knee. He put it right on the palm of my hand so that every time I touch something, I'm reminded this something will never be touched by this print ever again. See, it's about maximizing and understanding that the proof of your uniqueness, no, I'm talking about you, yes, you, specifically you, the unique that no one has ever seen before and no one will ever see again. Anytime you touch something, that something just had a great day because it will never be touched by a print like that ever again in Earth's history. Even if it out-survives you, that keyboard should feel blessed. That basketball should feel awesome. That pen that you just pulled out your pocket to write down some notes about wrestling with me, yeah, that pen is extremely happy because it just had a unique experience that no other hand can give to it. God has put the proof of your uniqueness right on your thumb. He is not wanting you to run away from who you really are. He's actually wanting you to embrace it, to wrestle with you, to take the time to look in the mirror. Admit you don't like what you see from day to day. Admit the fact that others don't like what they see from day to day. Go ahead and take the time to embrace it, because the individuals out there in this world that everybody is pandering after were willing to take a risk and be themselves. But I want to call every individual to not just be content with being you. You need to have a transformed you. You need to have an actual different to you. Yeah, it's cool to embrace it, but check this out. The verse is clear. From now on, you will be called Israel. He is not just embracing the Jacob the individual who wants to take other people's stuff, other people's places, and other people's positions. He is saying, no, I want a new name. I will not let you go until you bless me. See, the whole wrestling aspect is about sustained aggression. It's about a sustained motivation that you will not stop, not until just you understand who you are. See, there are a lot of people out there who are trying to get you to stop at just understanding who you are, becoming comfortable with you, embracing you. But I'm letting you know that that is not enough. That is simply one step in a two-step process. You embrace you, and then you seek difference. You seek change. As I read this story and I'm looking at Jacob, I admire him because he was willing to look at his wrestling circumstance and admit who he was. But I am elated that when he left it, he was different. We loved wrestlers and their names. But one thing I don't know if you ever noticed is when a wrestler came out and he wasn't that popular and he really didn't catch on with the audience, do you know you could see him come back as another name? For example, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. What was his first wrestler name? Nobody knows. Why? Because that was a flop. That was a fail. He had this issue with, I cannot get anyone to receive me right now. And so he went back into the locker room, changed his identity, got a new name, a new character, a new charisma, and all of a sudden, millions of people are standing in their house for no reason, holding their head back, looking up at the sky, asking, do you smell what The Rock is cooking? He needed a new name to complement a change in identity. And my appeal to you tonight is simply, don't be content with your current name. You need a new name because you need a new identity. Jacob did not stop at, I'm Jacob, deal with it. He says, I'm Jacob, and I will not let you go until you give me something new. I need something new. You need something new. We all need change that will only come at the moment when you are transparent, you are honest, and you admit to yourself, I need some change. Will you accept that change this evening? I hope you say yes. And if you do say yes, I hope you continue to wrestle with yourself.
See, the truth is, all of us are broken. All of us are damaged. We are dysfunctional. We were born in sin and shaped in iniquity. At Riverside, Nashville, we want people to know that you can be born again. The good news of the gospel is that God is able to create a second you. If any man be in Christ, he's a new creature. The old stuff can be discarded and thrown away, and we can become new in Christ Jesus. Be you and be the new you that God intended for you to be. Hey!